said the word leukemia, it was just, it was a shock.
Without an ability to transplant some of these patients, we lose them. So
we've met more families like ourselves that are desperate to keep the person that we love alive and with us.
It's probably the most terrifying moment in your life when somebody tells you that you've got a few months to live.
And I thought, how could this happen to me? What did I do wrong?
But it's heartbreaking to look at someone and say there is no match for you. There is no one in the National Marrow Donor Program.
I got involved when in February of 2000 I was diagnosed with leukemia. And I was fortunate enough to be called by Los Angeles Police Department, who started the multi-agency Marrow Donor Program, and was made one of the officers in dire need of a marrow transplant.
We need to come together in this effort. I'm aware now by Larry Stark of the need in particular for people of color, children of mixed races. Very, very difficult to successfully find the donation they need. So we need to come together in a collaborated effort, all of us working to try to beat this disease. It's an ongoing effort. It's a collaboration by all of us to successfully work in getting bone marrow samples and then getting the process completed for future successes in this disease.
I realized that this disease was bigger than me, and in order to fight it and be successful at putting it in its proper place, we'd have to work together. And now the team of the multi-agency group is going all throughout the state of California, and we're helping so many other people that now I'm at peace with whatever happens with our family. I can accept, because I know we've done something truly good, truly honorable to help other people that, like us, are fighting a disease. It's the fight of our lives.
The drives for the National Marrow Donor Program are extremely important for patients and potential future patients who will need to have this type of therapy done, which is, and when I talk about this type of therapy, I'm talking about the ability to transplant stem cells to help alleviate and cure them of their diseases.
There should be a match for everybody in the world today, basically. And the more people that come to our drives and are willing to get their finger pricked and give a little blood sample and potentially go on and save someone's life, especially when they're not at risk at losing anything. No one's ever died from a process of being a donor, and the honor of saving someone else's life is tremendous. We need more people to be in the National Marrow Donor Program so that people like my husband and the many, many children that search the registry every day can find that life-saving match and continue that quality of life that now they know is so precious because they've been diagnosed with leukemia or another form of cancer.
In the old days, back in 1970 when transplantation was started, the concept was that we had to destroy someone's bone marrow entirely with enough chemotherapy and or radiation therapy to allow the new bone marrow to grow in, or the new stem cells to grow in, and therefore replace those abnormal cells in the bone marrow. The bone marrow is that part of the body that I see as a factory that makes red cells, white cells, and platelets, but it's also where leukemia starts. So intuitively, what you want to do is destroy that marrow, replace it with something new. I have been doing transplant for many years, and I have seen the highs and lows of this field, and the highs are when someone desperately needs a transplant and we can't find a match, and eventually we find a match. There's great excitement, there's great hope, and I think the human spirit survives on hope. The National Marrow Donor Program has been doing this for many years, and there's over 12,000 donors who've gone through the National Marrow Donor Program who've given bone marrow or peripheral blood stem cells. We know that it's a safe procedure with a very low complication rate, with no patients having died And because there's about 12,000 patients who've been through it, these patients have been analyzed as to the quality of their life. The quality of their life returns to normal.
When a donor is identified as a match, it typically requires additional testing that can consist of blood work and a physical exam as you move through the donation process.
The process of how we collect peripheral blood stem cell is nearly identical to the process of giving platelets when someone goes to a Red Cross or to their local transfusion center. So it's the same looking machine. We use software a little differently so we can collect a different fraction. So the collection of stem cells looks like someone is just donating platelets.
Well, the donation part, after you donated, you're thinking you did very little. You know, for a couple of days, for a couple hours, you had to sit in the hospital, and you know they took your marrow basically, and they made you as comfortable as you could. It didn't hurt. It might have been a little bit uncomfortable, but so the time frame from the time that you actually donate to the time that you actually meet the person you donated to, if you do that, is you kind of think, I did something good, but it doesn't really get put into perspective until you actually meet the person. And man, it was one of the neatest feelings I've ever experienced in my life.
I would say that other than my wife, it means everything to me. I had a little girl that was 6 years old, and I talked to her after I was diagnosed with this disease, and the only thing she could say is, "Please don't leave me." And that's the driving force in my life.
I couldn't believe that I was facing the fact that I might be left to raise a family on my own. I always knew that was a possibility in law enforcement, but I never ever dreamed that this was going to happen or this was going to be the way it was going to happen, and it just scared me tremendously.
You know, what if you were a match to somebody and you never took the time to actually donate? You can't force people to do things like that, but you get the opportunity to, I know a donor such as Roy downplays what they have done, but from my side of it, my aspect of it, it's everything. There's nothing I can say to him that would thank him enough. There's nothing I could, I mean, monetary, material things mean nothing. I mean, other than to say, when you meet him, you shake his hand, you give him a hug, and you say, thank you for what you've done. There's nobody else on earth that you have that feeling for. I have his blood in me. He saved my life. He gave me an opportunity to continue to be here today, to be here in the future. It was and it still continues to be every single day. I wake up, I thank him, I thank God that I woke up that day.
You're welcome.
If I find a match, it would be the thing that could cure me, the one thing that could get me out of the nightmare. Because the situation I have now is I get my blood tested every 6 weeks, and at any moment I could be told that I'm out of remission and back in the hospital. And the next time I'm out of remission, if I don't find a marrow match, there's no way they can save me.
And this National Marrow Donor Program has truly given hope and a chance to many people. I know many people personally who are alive today because we were able to transplant them and find them a donor, and that's very rewarding. I also, unfortunately, have held the hand of many a patient who's died because we could not find a donor. And when we run out of our standard conventional therapy, even with the great advances in some of the new drugs that are out there, without an ability to transplant some of these patients, we lose them. So in honor of all those patients who could not find donors, you know, I implore everyone to at least be tested, add to the National Marrow Donor Program so that this gift of life can be given, and you can see the joy on someone's face, and clearly it keeps us motivated and kept me motivated.